Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. So let's go ahead and get into And Just Like That, Season 1, Episode 9, No Strings Attached. If you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns of TV shows with my own opinions, thoughts, theories, whatever. So it's not your typical scene by scene breakdown because we all watched the episode already. I don't need to tell y'all what happened in each scene. So if you enjoy that type of content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it, notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads, and then hop into the comment section so we can chat about what happened in the video. Also, I'm wearing a hoodie from the Classic Shop. If you've been rocking with me, I've been wearing a lot of like local Milwaukee brands. So if you ever want a link to any of the hoodies or t-shirts or anything like that I do have on, let me know and then I can get that for you. But y'all don't care about that. Let's go. So, and just like that, I thought the episode was boring. It seemed like a very filler episode. It seemed boring to me. Not a lot went on, and the stuff that did go on, just like I didn't care about. But I've been enjoying the series overall, but this episode was just kind of But let's talk about it, y'all. So it starts with Carrie, Charlotte, and Miranda. They're out to lunch. And Carrie said that she's going to go on another date with the doctor. With the teacher from the dating app. The first two times, the first time they went out, remember, they got sick and threw up. So she's like, we're going to try it again, see what is going to happen. I don't know why Carrie is rushing this. Like, didn't Big just die last year? So I don't know why she's like rushing to get married and start. Why she's rushing to start dating again. It's weird. Like, I don't get it. So Miranda said that she wants them to help her come paint the women's center that she is working on with her professor. Carrie wants to just be the white woman that writes the check and doesn't actually do any of the work. And Charlotte is all for it. She's excited to go. So Carrie agrees to come, but you can tell she don't want to do it. I thought she was going to flake, to be honest. So Charlotte then tells them that she believes that she's in menopause or starting menopause because she hasn't gotten her period in 3 months. And then she tells them how she doesn't have any of the awful symptoms that they had, the sweating, the mood swings, all that type of stuff that comes with menopause. And they're like, oh, good on Charlotte, still nice and smug because Carrie and Miranda have already gone through menopause. So it's a wrap for them. So Carrie is at home and she gets a knock on the door and it's Lisette. So Lisette brings up some jewelry. So she wants Carrie, because she knows that Carrie is a writer. Carrie has influence. Carrie has a following. She's hoping that if Carrie wears some of her jewelry on her Instagram, that it'll like boost the sales. Because when Scarlett Johansson wore some jewelry, it helped to boost up her sales. And Carrie's like, I'm not really popping, you know what I mean? Like I used to be when I had the column, but sure. So Lisette notices that Carrie has on a ring and it's like, oh, that's a cool ring. It's Carrie's wedding band. And she tells her that she's married or that, she does have a husband. And then she was like, she's in a long distance relationship. I don't know why Carrie is so awkward about this. Just tell her, yeah, my husband passed away last year. That's literally all you had to say. But to do the whole, yeah, it's super long distance. Like, that was silly. She notices the wedding band. Just tell her, yeah, my husband passed away. I just haven't taken it off yet. That's not uncommon. There are a lot of married people, a lot of widowers who still wear their wedding ring. It's not that big of a deal like Carrie is trying to make it out to seem. So Charlotte is helping rock. I don't know what they were practicing. Was it Hebrew? I'm not sure. But she wants her to keep practicing because she has a bat mitzvah coming up. Rock doesn't want a bat mitzvah. And Charlotte tells her it's a they mitzvah, trying to be more politically correct and accepting of her daughter. While she's helping her with whatever her studies, Anthony calls. He's mad that he has to be a hot fella himself and deliver the bread because someone canceled on him. But he wants to know if he can bring a date to dinner. Charlotte's like, sure. While Charlotte's talking to him, we hear Lily scream. Lily got on my everlasting last nerve this episode. everlasting last nerve. So Lily comes in. She's mad. She got her period. According to her app, it's early. So there is a pool party in the Hamptons. And of course, she doesn't want to get in the pool with a pad on. So Charlotte is like, you can, either learn to wear a tampon or you can skip the pool party. So Lily is just shit. And I'm like, girl, calm down. We have all been there before. We've all been there before. And like Charlotte is right, either learn to wear a tampon or then you just can't go get in the water. That's basically what it is. You got one or two options, sis. But the way that they were having Lily act the entire time, I'm going to just wrap Lily up, was so annoying. So they have this scene later where Charlotte is trying to tell her how to put it in. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable. Charlotte offers to like put one in herself. Her daughter was like, that's gross, that's disgusting. She didn't want to do it. How did I learn? I think I just like read the package because my mom didn't do tampons either. So I think I just read the package and then you just try. But Charlotte is like making, and I know it's for entertainment, but Charlotte is like just making like a huge fuss about this and jamming in and doing it at this angle. And it's like, girl, it didn't take all this, but we know how Charlotte is. So then later, Lily gets it in, and when they're out painting, she's like, I can't find my string. I can't find the string. It's lost. And Charlotte was like, girl, it's not lost. Look for it. Look for it. It happens to the best of us. Look for it. So then when she mentioned, like, is it up your butt? Lily says, girl, if you don't get that tampon string and pull it out and leave everybody else the hell alone the rest of this episode. I was so sick of Lily this episode. But it just shows you that Charlotte raised her ass, because that's exactly how Charlotte acts. So we then see Che and Miranda are out to dinner at like a diner. And Che calls her pretty. And Miranda like doesn't know how to compliment her back. She's like, you look great in whatever, non-binary. And it's like, Miranda, girl, just say you look good too and call it a day. That's a very simple, non-gender conforming way to compliment somebody. You look good too. Like, it's like, I'm so sick of Miranda looking awkward. Like, girl, what is going on? What is going on? So Che has some fans that are there that want to get a selfie of her. So Che is apparently big shit, okay? And they come over and Che's like, sure, we can take a selfie, no problem. Miranda was like, I can take the picture for you. So they asked Miranda, are you famous too? She was like, no, I'm just a girlfriend. And Che gives her a look that's kind of, oh yeah? Girlfriend, you say? Because I didn't think that we were there, basically is what Che was kind of looking. And Miranda is just like, la, 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 just lackadaisical, just, yeah, this is my girlfriend. And it's like, you're doing a lot right now, Miranda. You're doing a lot. I'm kind of mad that we didn't see what happened when she went to Cleveland. Was it smooth sailing? How did it go? Like, what happened in Cleveland? How was Che? Was she receptive? Did Miranda get her face cracked? Weird. So the girls then are telling Che that, like, you hooked up with my friend Melvin, you hooked up with our friend Aubrey, and Miranda's just kind of looking like, oh, was she a hoe? Oh, was she a hoe? Like, that's the vibe that Miranda was giving. Meanwhile, Che is looking at her like, girl, I never said you were my girlfriend. So you can tell that it's a little tense between the two of them, but they play it off and the rest of dinner goes seamlessly. So we have Seema and Carrie. They're standing in line for a club, and I think it's odd that Carrie still keeps going, taking her ass out. For Carrie to be a 55-year-old woman who claims she doesn't do anything, you're sure out a lot. Carrie goes out more than me, and I am 37. And I feel like Carrie always has her ass out at a club or a restaurant or doing something. I know that this is post-pandemic in their world, but I don't know a 55-year-old woman that is going to the club. But all right. So she has on the ring from Lisette, and she, has Seema take a picture of her because why not? You know what I mean? Like, it takes nothing for someone to take a picture when you get something for free. So she takes a picture, and then she is contemplating if she should stop wearing her wedding ring. Seema's like, I don't know. I don't have any priors. Seema seems like a very superficial friend. She doesn't seem bad, but I just kind of feel like whenever Carrie is trying to like really talk to her or get some advice from her about something kind of serious, Seema never has like a response. Seema never has like good solid advice. It's always like, I don't know, I party, I don't know, I drink, I don't know, I've never been married. Girl, you can give her some type of advice and make up something to tell her. But okay, so they're wondering why they're still waiting in line, and Carrie is like, we can just go. Seema was like, it's my birthday, I want to dance. And I'm like, it's your birthday. Carrie had no idea. Seema says she doesn't like to make a big deal about her birthday, but Seema says she's going to go bribe the doorman because, damn it, she's going to party tonight. So they get up to the front. Carrie is like, I'll talk to him, and tries to schmooze. And it's like, we don't have to do the TV show where I do this, you do that. We've all seen that song and dance. And the man was like, we're at capacity. Seema tries to slip him some money. He said that's offensive. So they leave. But then I felt like as they were walking away, we saw some girls like walking in. So I was confused about that. They go to a restaurant and they share a piece of cake, and they're just kind of talking about how Seema feels like she kept telling, 54 is big for her because she kept telling herself, even though you don't have a man, you're not 54 yet. So now she is 54, which is closer to 55. But 53 was a good year because she met her new best friend, Carrie. And I was like, okay. Alrighty then. So she invites Carrie to go to a matinee with her. Carrie said, I can't because I'm going to be painting houses over in Brooklyn. And Seema is like, I'll drive you. And then kind of with the hopes of we can go show our face and then we can go into this matinee and get some drinks or whatever. So Charlotte and Lily, when Lily asks Charlotte to help her put that tampon in, Anthony brings over his date. The date's name is Justin. He comes in. Charlotte tells Harry check the challah to get it out the oven in 10 minutes. And the guy was like, is this a Jewish dinner? Is it? The Holocaust was a hoax. I said, the fuck? Some jokes shouldn't be written. Some stuff shouldn't be written. This shouldn't have been written. So Anthony screams for him to leave. It was pointless. It was unnecessary to the show. It's not going to give the joke factor, the humor factor, I feel like that they were anticipating. Don't come on here joking about slavery. I'll just say that. So we see Carrie back at the house, and she's taking off her wedding ring, but then she pulls out the ring box that Big's ring is in, and ends up putting on Big's ring. And I'm just like, I feel like she's doing too much. Girl, if you want to keep wearing your ring, keep wearing it. It's not that big of a deal. So Carrie is on her date. Well, she shows up to her date. The guy comes, Peter. He's super nice. He's like, I wanted to be the one that was early. He was like, but I can read people's faces because I'm a teacher. He's like, we're not having a date. Basically, Carrie tells him she's just not ready. She thought she was ready. She tried to pull off the ring. She ends up putting on her husband's ring. And he's like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. I totally understand. I still have my wife's voicemail. So I totally get it. But he tells her that's strike two. We got one more strike before we're out. So Miranda and Che. Miranda shows up to Che's house. And it's like, I was craving whatever, so I thought I would pick some up and then come over by you. And Che is looking at her like, did we have plans? What's going on? Like, why are you here? So Miranda is like, is someone there? Oh my God, someone's at your house. And she just goes 0 to 100. Che was like, yeah, me. There's no one here but me, but I'm writing and working. I just wish you would have called. That's all. I'm a huge proponent too. Don't come by people's house uninvited. I don't think that's cool. I don't rock with that. Growing up, my parents lived in kind of a very central location between a bunch of family members. So we were always that house where any given day, any given moment, people were showing up because why not? You know, my parents' house, like they're on the way to everybody. So now in my own place, I don't want anybody just showing up here. You can definitely call me and be like, I was thinking of stopping by. I'm in the area. Sure. But don't just come ring the bell. Don't just come ring the bell. So Miranda is like, what am I doing? I wouldn't have done this if you were a guy. And she goes running down the stairs, and Che is like, what the fuck? What is going on? So she follows her, and she was like, look, this is not gonna work. And before she can finish her statement, Miranda like starts to go, ah. And Che is like, let me finish. It's not going to work if you keep putting us into a box. I'm not your boyfriend. You're not my girlfriend. We are dating. We are trying to get to know each other. And if you're going to keep trying to put us in these traditional boxes and follow what societal norms and what you think a relationship should look like, it's just not going to work with us. So Che tells her, I know what you're trying to do, what you're trying to, you know, hint around and say. I'm only sleeping with you. I'm not messing around with anybody else because I know that's what you're worried about. So then Miranda is like, okay, I'm going to go home. Che was like telling her to come on up. Miranda's like, no, I'm going to go home and eat these cookies on the ride home. A pointless ass scene. Miranda, get it together. Get it together. Get it together. This was stupid. So Carrie and Seema show up to the painting event. And Seema's like trying to convince Carrie not to actually paint, but to just write a check. And it's like, girl, you didn't have to come. Carrie said that she was going to go and help out her friend. Seema, if you didn't want to come paint, no one told you to come. But don't try to convince her to leave her friend's event because you don't want to be there. You weren't invited. So Miranda comes out, sees her, is excited that she's there. Seema said, I'm not painting. I'm going to be the brown woman that's just going to write a check. Steve and Brady show up, and Miranda's like, great, everyone's being paired off together. Steve was like, I call Carrie. I love Steve's voice. I've always loved Steve's voice. So Miranda was like, great, I call Brady. I'm like, you know damn well Brady don't want to paint with you. Brady was like, no, Luis is coming, who is his girlfriend. So while they're standing outside, Nia, is it Nia or Naya? The professor comes out, and she's like, damn, the caterer just canceled because she thought that they needed the donation for the lunch next week. So then we see a stretch limo pop up. Out pops Charlotte, her kids, LTW, her husband, and her kids. And Lisa was like, full disclosure, I ordered a van for 10 people. This showed up, but we're all here, we're ready to work. My husband's finishing up a car. He's ready to do heavy lifting. I brought my camera. I can take some pictures for you to help with fundraising for like your website. Like she sprung right into action. And Nia was like, well, if you can get lunch for 100 people, and LTW was like, I got you. No, got you. Offer it. No problem. I like Nicole Ari Parker on here. I wish she had a bigger role. I feel like Seema has too much of a role. I think if we would have been able to see more of LTW and her family, she wouldn't feel like a token black person that was put on the show. I feel like we're seeing more like, they should just made her like, not like a main character, but like, let's just see more of her aside from like Charlotte, like being thirsty to be this woman's friend. Cause I think she's a great addition. I don't know. I don't get what they were doing. The way they marketed that Nicole Ari Parker was joining the cast. Was it just a ploy to get black people to try to watch the show? We were going to watch the show regardless. If people are fans of Sex and the City, they were going to watch the show regardless. You didn't have to throw in a token black person and promote her like the way that they did, like crazy, like she was going to be really interwoven in this group of friends. We only see her with Charlotte. It's weird. So Seema's outside smoking when this man drives up in like his little fancy car, and it's like, what is all this shit out here? And Seema's like, why would I know? So basically that's his club. He's wondering why all this stuff is set up in front of his club. So Carrie and Steve are in the room. Remember, they're partners. and they're painting, and Steve was like, how long did you know about Miranda? Steve wants to know, like, Carrie, were you being bogus and, like, covering up for her? Carrie was like, look, it looks away because she is messing with, like, someone that works with me. I didn't introduce them, no. Which Carrie did not. They ended up meeting because Miranda cussed her ass out at Big's wedding because she was like vaping outside with Brady. So the conversation switches to like, did you know that Miranda was interested in women? Like, because Steve is confused. He said, we are 55. Why are we going through a divorce because my wife is all of a sudden interested in women? Like, he's trying to make sense of this. Make it make sense for Steve. Carrie is like, I didn't know anything. All I know is that Miranda said it's not about being with women. It's about being with Che. So Miranda is more just attracted to Che, the notion of her, just her personality, her as a person. And then Steve like asks something and he steps forward. For whatever reason, Carrie steps back. She has on fucking heels, which I get it. Carrie wears heels, but like, Carrie has on heels, so she steps into some paint, so she runs to wipe the paint off. While she's doing that, she has Big's ring on with the fucking Band-Aid, so of course it slips off down the drain. She's freaking out. She's screaming for Steve. Steve comes in, and it's like, it's probably just caught right here. I can open up the pipe, and I can get it out for you. I got you. So while this is going on, LTW has a bunch of food trucks come, and she got them all lined up because she is that girl, and she's she came in and sprang the action, and she can clearly afford to do it. Steve gets the ring out of the drain, and Carrie's great. You know, she has calmed down now. She's calmed down, and like, you can tell that she's looking at Steve like, this is a good dude. This is a good man. And you can tell that she feels bad, not only for Steve, but she feels like Miranda is just messing up right now. Back outside, the women are standing out around the food trucks getting some lunch. And Charlotte comes over and it's like she's fed up to here with Lily because she's being so annoying about it. So they all have a little talk about tampons, yada, yada, yada. And then Che calls Miranda. Miranda does not answer because she says she's working on pulling back. But then she questions why she didn't leave a voicemail. Who leaves voicemails? I definitely never leave voicemails. And I also don't check voicemails. So Nia and her husband have a little argument because earlier when they were painting, LTW's husband is like working with all the kids, and you can tell that he's a really engaged father. And Nia's husband is looking like, damn, I want that. That's like some super dad stuff. So she's wondering why he keeps flipping the script. He's basically on some, I want kids. I shouldn't have to convince myself that I don't because you don't want to keep trying. And that's real. They're going to end up divorced because, not because she can't have kids, but because she's not open, I think, to exploring other different possibilities on how they can. They can adopt. They can use a surrogate. She doesn't seem open to doing that unless she can physically have the child herself. And he's going to eventually resent her for that because he really wants a kid. So while Charlotte is walking away from Lily, Lily sees that she's bleeding through her little coveralls. So as she's at the table, big ass red stain, Miranda and Carrie see, and they're like, oh girl. So they like wrap a scarf around her. And Miranda tells a story about how I think this is a flash period. It happens, yada, yada, yada. You'll be fine. Back in the room, Carrie is after lunch. She's talking to Steve. And she like, once again, he comes to check on her. And he's like, how's that heart rate? You feeling better? Because she was super stressed. And she tells him, she just had a moment and she panicked. And Steve is like, I get it because I'm never taking my ring off. We said death do us part. That's what it is for me. And Carrie is like, don't you want to see what else is out there? Don't you want to find somebody that is right for you? And Steve is like, no. No, I'm keeping my ring on. So I think Carrie sees in that moment that she has to let go of Big. So when she gets home, she takes off both of their rings, puts them back into the ring box, and then texts the teacher and was like, how about we try for the third strike? And it was like, Carrie, stop playing in that man's face. If you're not going to seriously at least try with Peter, like, you didn't even want to meet him for dinner. Like, you act like y'all are going out and he's picking you up and stuff. You literally met this man for dinner. Just try being his friend first. Try being his friend first. But that was in Just Like That, episode 1. Nope. Season 1, episode 9. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it. And I will catch you guys next week. I think next week is the finale, right? It's only 10 episodes. Catch you guys in the next one.